Welcome once again to my podcast. I am Childeric. This is episode 42 majestic episodes. So today, John Brennan fires a warning shot to Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell after Trump orders Department of Justice to investigate FBI's campaign infiltration. There was infiltrations into the Trump campaign. Look, these people are so stupid. They are guilty and they know it. They're going to be put on trial and they're going to go to prison. And it's so dumb. It is so dumb. Like these people were like, we're going to get away. We're going to do this and we're going to get away with it. You don't mess around with the elections. You don't mess with, there's certain things you don't mess with, and that's one of them. And how high up does it go? Come on. By now, do I really have to explain it to you? It goes all the way to the top, okay? It goes all the way to the top. You think BO is, his little deal with Netflix is going to keep him from doing his shows from prison? No, it isn't, okay? We have something in this country, it's called the rule of law. And it applies to everyone, even the President of the United States or the Secretary of State. Now, these clowns were corrupt. Hillary was running guns through and weapons through Benghazi into Syria. They overthrew Gaddafi. When the guy was actually trying to cooperate, he got rid of all of his nuclear ambitions. And to this day, no one knows where the Libyan gold went. Libya had just gobs of gold. It was so bad. They had so much gold that at one point he wanted to create an African currency based on all of the gold that he had. It was a gold currency that he was going to create. Well, all of the people who run their monetary systems off of debt, creating debt to create money, didn't like that because they'd be out and they would end up not having any way to have the debts that are owed to them paid off. They would tank the dollar. Well, of course, nobody wants that. So, yeah, they're corrupt. Obama, and what an inept leader in the first place. First of all, like, no tactics, you know what I mean? No strategy, no tactics. The guy literally dropped 26,000 bombs in the Middle East, in Africa, for no result. Like nothing changed. He just kept dropping bombs on people. He was just like the most inept president ever. Canada has their own version of Obama. He's called Obama Light. Just kidding. His name is Justin Trudeau. And he takes his cues from Obama and John Kerry when he's vacationing on the Aga Khan's private island. See, they got some kind of big scheme going. You remember John Kerry? John Kerry's the guy that had the Iran deal going. Yeah. So they got some kind of big scheme going. And don't worry. Yeah, we're all hip to it. We are all hip to it. Yeah, so they're crooked. I mean, it's a cutesy nickname for when you're campaigning against Hillary, but when you actually take a look at the things that these people allied with all of these liberal, globalist, elitists have done, it's actually pretty sick. It's actually pretty sick. We can do way better than that. And it sucks because, like, there's a large majority of people that are just really stupid who are like, they just accept these people, these garbage-ass people, like hook, line, and sinker. Like, whatever they say, it must be true. These people are running you right off the cliff. These people are running you right off the cliff. It's ridiculous that there's so many stupid people that just buy into it. Yep, that's what we're doing. I mean, for crying out loud, Canada, which barely has any identity of its own, okay? And it's not a disparaging comment. It's not meant that way. It's just they get a lot of their influence, whether it's media or popular culture or, whatever, what have you, it seeps into Canada. And Canada takes it and they kind of regurgitate a little bit and they do a Canadian version of it. And it's not quite the same, okay? So like the black people that we have here in the South are not the same black people they have there. Okay, the black people that they have there have been freed for quite some time. So when they celebrate Black History Month or whatever, they talk about the suffering of the Black people in the South in the United States, which has nothing to do with them, except for some of them escaped into Canada. Okay? So those things, I guess, you know, but I mean, it's like such a small percentage. But then they take all of these cultures that they have in their amalgamation, and they celebrate like for the last 2 months straight, it's been nothing but this people group is having a celebration. Oh, we're celebrating this. And I feel sorry for their leaders, because they're elected officials, because they get elected and they got to pander to all these different groups. They got to put on this special hat on such and such day. They got to, you know, it's fine if you want to meet with them and celebrate with them and stuff like that. But why are those people changing who they are because there's a people group that is there, that's their culture? So it's like everybody got into this whole thing where it's like, oh, we should appreciate each other's culture. Well, I don't have time for that. Okay, I don't have time for that. I'm busy appreciating my own culture, and that's fine if they want to do that, as long as they're not bombing people, they're not shooting people, and their doctrine has nothing to do with killing people. Okay. Or committing other crimes. That's fine. But these poor Canadian politicians, and I'm sure that there's a number of them, they have friends that are in these different people groups and stuff like that, but literally it's like they can't get the vote, that they don't want to disrespect them and all kinds of things. So they got all this extra maneuvering they have to do, and they forget that those people groups should be accepting of them. It's a two-way street, okay? It's a two-way street. And that's okay to get together and share and enjoy different things. But I mean, like, literally, this has been going on for like a couple of months, like maybe 3 months. It's been a new thing every week, a new thing that they're saying, and it's a big deal. So it's like celebrating the 4th of July every week with a different people group. So they're like, you know, the Chinese blasting off firecrackers in the streets with big marches and dragons and stuff, having their big thing. And then the next thing you know, the Sikhs do one, and then the Muslims have their thing, and you know, the Ishmaelis have their it's like every week it's been going on. It's like as soon as the place thawed out, there was like one festival after another. Now, I'm not ripping on that. It's just a matter of, that's a bit much, okay? It's a bit much. It's like, oh, well, we like all of these different cultures. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, that's fine and everything, but that only matters to people that don't have their own culture. Does that make sense? That thing only matters to people who have no culture, or who don't have their own, who are not solid and pleased with their own culture. And Canada forgets, like they get to the end of their day and they're like, yep, I'm pretty solid, I know what my culture is. And then they fall asleep and they wake up in the morning, what's my culture? You know, it's because they've borrowed and been influenced by all kinds of different things. And plus now they got this big, huge emphasis on all of these other cultures. And it's like, okay, look, you don't have to be part of every single culture to appreciate that those people dress a certain way, or that those people have a certain custom. It doesn't require you to change yourself, and it shouldn't. That's the point I'm making, is that not any one of those groups should be expecting other people to change to facilitate them. Because they're all guests. They've all, you know, and there are some who are citizens of that country now, but that's the point, is that they came in, set up shop, and that's who they are, and that's fine. It's, you know, we have Chinatowns all over the United States. Every city's got Chinatown, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if the Chinese came in and started a Chinatown and then started to expand their Chinatown to engulf an entire city and force everyone to be Chinese, that's a problem. See, if you go to Chinatown and they make you be Chinese while you're in Chinatown, that's a problem. You know, if you want to celebrate and do things and, you know, partake in the cultures, that's one thing, you know. But that's why there's a section of town for that thing. It's not the entire country. The entire country is not Chinese, okay? So that's what's going on in Canada. They've got all these different groups, and they wonder why they're so fragmented. They've got the French, they've got the English, they've got the Irish, they've got the Germans, they've got the Native American, the different tribes that they have there, you know, all the way up to the Arctic Circle, you know. And then they enter all of these other groups, Middle Eastern. You've got the Indians, the Sikhs, the different factions of those, and so yeah. I guess if you wanted to keep track of all of that, you know, and think in their mind, they think of it as like a theme park, like the whole country is a theme park of all these different cultures. But that's really, I mean, that's not what it is. It's so I'm not banging on like, or I'm not bagging on all of these different cultures. I'm just saying that where are these cultures in the world? You know, where are they? Why is their culture so awesome that I'm supposed to be drop what I'm doing to respect it? You know what I mean? What is this culture? What are all of these cultures doing that is going to make me just drop what I'm doing? You know, whether it, you know, I got to stop who I am and all of a sudden take note. Like, oh, look at this. Whoa, what's going on here? And I've told you guys before that there's this new disease that's going on throughout the world, and it's usually globalist elitists that succumb to it. But people have this false sense of this false idea that everything's up for grabs. Okay, if Obama can tank the United States, then it's up for grabs. He can just redo it however he wants it. It's false. It's false. Canada, same way. Justin Trudeau, he's trying to tank Canada, and he thinks he's going to remake it however he wants it, and nobody's going to stop it. That's false too. It's false. So they're stupid. They're like really, really stupid if that's what they think. And I'm pretty sure that's how they operate. So that must be their mindset. Same thing with gay people. Gay people, they go around all the time telling people how gay they are, talking about how they're gay is, you know, you better respect they're gay. No, I don't have to respect. Like, first of all, you, like, these people talking about whatever it is they do in the bedroom to complete strangers and then harassing them over something that they do and not the other person that they're talking to. So it's like, that's like really out there. Okay. It's sick. I'm not talking about whatever it is you're doing. I'm just talking about the fact that you think it's okay to just come out with that right off the get to somebody who doesn't care. I mean, who wants to be assaulted with that raunch? Any raunch, even if the person was heterosexual. There's no heterosexuals going around like, hey, you know what I do in the bedroom. And that's how they start a conversation. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? See? And so that to me is where I get an attitude, because it's just kind of like, look, I really don't want to know. I really don't want to know. And not only do I not want to know what you do in the bedroom, now I don't even want to know you. And so then they get this whole isolation thing going. Well, oh, no, you should accept what I do. I shouldn't have to know what you do is the thing. See, I shouldn't be hearing about it. Excuse me. I shouldn't be hearing about it. But there they go. Like, they're just constant with the marching and the things like, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're looking for in life that you're not getting? Well, I want people to respect me. Well, then stop running around telling them what you do in the bedroom. You know what I mean? That's like a private thing. And if you did that, like I said, even if you were heterosexual and you went around just telling people to get over well, this is what I do in the bedroom, you better get over it. That doesn't even make any sense. Of course, nobody's going to respect you. First thing they're going to do is be like, well, what is this weirdo? You know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh, I'm going to turn and face my beer. I don't need to talk to this weirdo at the bar. You know? Yeah, so I could see how they would have all kinds of struggles because of that lifestyle that they've chosen, but that is entirely not my problem. And so when they bring it to me, I'm kind of like, that's pretty much your problem, not mine. And I stick to it. I stick to it because I don't have to put up with that. No, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and opt out of that. As a subject, especially in public, not even in private, I'm going to opt out because it's just really weird that you think it's okay for you to just put it on everybody. Yeah. Which makes sense, though. It makes sense that you would have to do that. Because now, the Pope disagrees. He seems to think that people were born this way, but I guarantee you that if you took a bunch of homosexuals, a bunch of guys, and you put them on an island, they will not create another homosexual. Same thing with the lesbians. You take a bunch of lesbians and you put them on an island with no men, they will not make another lesbian. They will die out as a people, as a society. They will not survive. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You know? And so I don't, so the Pope's wrong. What an idiot, by the way. Well, you were born that way. What a dummy. That guy does not even make sense to me. He doesn't even make any sense. It's like he never read it. It's like he never read the Bible. Like he doesn't know what it actually says. Like, this is like the weirdest Pope I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, like, just weird. Just a bunch of weirdos. what I really want to know is what does the homosexual community get out of convincing me that it's okay for them to be homosexual? What do they get out of it? Because I still disagree, and I will just go away and be quiet and just still disagree. So you've really achieved nothing. It doesn't make any sense why you keep doing it, unless you're aware of this whole island theory in regards to homosexuality, that you won't actually be able to create another homosexual if you put all the gays on an island. And so that leads you to one inevitable conclusion, that you have to make new ones by convincing them that that's what they are. And there isn't any one of these gay people that can tell me, and I have friends that are gays, lesbians, okay? And I tell them straight up, it's like, hey, can you tell me that somebody didn't tell you that you were gay? Somebody didn't convince you. You just spontaneously did it. And every time they tell me, well, no, somebody did actually mention it, and they kind of coerced me into it. Every time. So that's what they have to do to make new ones, see? Is they have to convince somebody that that's what they are. And they fall for it, and they're like, oh man, that must be what I am. And they get into it, and they realize, shit, I can't get out. That's why you see posters promoting homosexuality in public places in Canada. But what I get tired of is people trying to tell me that the sky is a different color than it actually is. That's my problem with it. It doesn't have anything to do with whatever it is that they're doing, except for the fact that they're trying to tell me something that isn't true, and they're trying to keep telling me, and like it's going to convince me. It doesn't change the fact. The fact is that the sky is blue. It isn't purple, no matter how many times you tell me it's purple. Okay? It isn't black. It isn't red. It isn't, and it's not a fantasy. So like when people come at me with their fantasies, you know, like, no, how do you know? How do you? They come at you with all kinds of weird ideas that aren't real and aren't true. And I like to give people a lot of leeway as far as ideas are concerned, or maybe things that they've been taught, and I just go ahead and, you know, let them have it sometimes. But then there's a point where I'm just kind of like, look, no, that isn't the way it is. I have to put my foot down and just let you know, well, that's not the way it is. So what's the big secret? What's the big secret? Because as far as gays is concerned, the big secret is that they run around acting like everybody hates them. Which does what? Well, it's kind of one of those self-fulfilling things where people are kind of like, yeah, I really don't like the fact that you're really belligerent about stuff that you shouldn't really be telling me because it's not polite. So they kind of self-fulfill this whole thing, and it builds. They feed it, and it grows, and it builds. And then they use it like they're a victim. Like, oh, you don't like me. Yeah, I don't. So go away. See how easy that was? Well, I don't feel like I'm accepted. You're not. There you go. You know, you're not. Well, that isn't nice. Yeah, I know. That's really sad for you. Well, you're supposed to accept me. No, I actually don't. And I'm certainly not going to accept you on terms that you describe yourself by. That leaves no room for someone to have a friendship with you. You're not leaving any room for it. The island theory. The island theory. So this is part of the psychosis that goes along with liberalism. Liberalism, like liberals, literally would not exist at all as an entity. And all of the problems that the world is facing right now is based on liberal ideology, somebody who has to create a thing that gives them a reason to be in power. You create an immigration problem so that you can control the immigration problem, so that you can use it and manipulate the immigration problem to your advantage. Excuse me. So that's what liberals do. So like every big major social problem that we have right now is created by liberals. It just doesn't, it's not a real thing. And all of these weird people who are stuck in all of these different psychosis states, for some reason they can't take themselves out of the box long enough to realize, wait a minute, every single one of these problems is something that you made up. Every single one of these problems is something you made up. And when someone tries to tamper with, like MS-13, they want MS-13 in there. Who knows why? Who knows why? So Trump decides he's going to kick out the MS-13, send them back to Ecuador, where they come from. Okay, they're here illegally, they're gone. Oh my goodness, you You can't do that. And so they twisted around to make it be about people who are irregular border crossers, is what they call them. So they equate that with every person trying to cross the border when it's just specifically MS-13. Oh, he called them animals. He called them animals. No, he called MS-13 animals. And you twisted it around to mean every person that is actually breaking the law, trying to get into the country illegally, okay? So the jig is up, and that's why they're all upset, and everyone's onto them, and it's the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life, because you've got grown people who have had careers in extremely, important positions, and here they are, complete imbeciles. Like, that is what floors me, is that all of a sudden we're finding out that where we thought we had a bunch of Jason Bournes, we only have, like, librarian-looking broads. You know what I mean? That are, like, shuffling card catalogs and shit. And none of them are, you know what I mean? I'm, like, worried. I'm worried. I mean, we need to start recruiting out of some special forces shit because, these people, like, so they get these people at the top, and these people at the top are the dumbest idiots ever. They are so dumb. Like, these people are breaking, like, very, very elementary rules that you don't break. The leaking and the leaking of classified information and the destruction of, evidence and all kinds of stuff they're doing. And it's absurd. It's absurd. These are not the signs of health. And they know they're caught, and so that's why they're throwing their little temper tantrum. But the fact of the matter is that they can keep throwing that temper tantrum all the way into jail. That's right, you're going to jail. And if you don't like that, that is your problem. You had the choice. You had the choice. And it appears, now, there's some Democrats that are your average everyday Democrat. That's like a JFK Democrat. That's more actually conservative than they are liberal, okay? They're more center-right and not left at all. And they're different. The ones from before are different, but there's some here today that are still think of themselves that way. And so they get this polarized reaction by this nefarious group of people that got weaseled their way into Washington in all these different echelons over the last 8 years. And they are these nasty group of people that are the problem. And so then you can't ever have good conversations with the ones on the bottom because they feel marginalized by anything that's, any further right. So they don't go. There's a few. But for the most part, you're literally just talking about there's some departments in Washington that you just got to jerk the people out. It's going to hurt. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. They've got to go. You just got to take the heads of these various intelligence and investigative agencies, and you just got to go switch them all up really fast. Just boom. Done. And the reason why you have to do that, and it's not so much the rank and file. It's not so much the rank and file, but there's rank and file everyday people that are Democrats that are like, well, I'm a Democrat. Well, I got to stick with the party. So these are a lot of times they're like union people that are getting ripped off because their union dues they're getting taken to pay for all of these things that they keep making up to their reasons to be in power, the reasons to get elected. See, they're not offering anything. They're not offering any solutions. And that's what the problem is, and that's what they're afraid of, is you solve all these problems and now they don't have any reason to be elected. So that's what they're faced with, the end of their little shell game, where they come up with all, oh yeah, what are you going to do about all these illegal immigrants? Well, we're going to stop illegal immigration. That's what we're going to do. Oh, you can't do that. If you do that, I won't get elected. That's right. That's right. And the nice Democrats that are sane will move center-right, and the country will be governed center-right once again, permanently. But that isn't because the center-right is evil. It's because those people broke the law. Those people on the liberal side broke the law. Okay, so all the way on the left, they went off the deep end and they did something they weren't supposed to do. So they screwed it up for themselves. Too bad for them. Bye. Have fun in jail.